Armand here with your forecast for the week of January 9th, 2022. It's an interesting kind of week. It's a week that has a lot of energy that could be quite productive, but could go a couple of different ways. I was watching Adam Bernstein over on the Medium channel. You learn something new every day, right? Over on the Medium channel this morning, Sunday morning, with his tarot time forecast. I actually got up to watch it live. I watched the second half of it live. He sort of said this is a good week to sort of, I didn't say hide under the covers type of thing, but I think sort of lay low seemed to be the message that we were getting out of that. And I could sort of see that as being the case. It may be hard to do, though. You know, how much you're going to go out and do stuff is one thing, and then what comes towards you is another thing. So there's two sides to that story. The basics of it, we begin the week on Sunday, January 9th, with a first quarter moon in Aries. Sun is in Capricorn, moon is in Aries. This is a very active energy. And so first quarter moon is always a time to put things into action, time to get going with things. So coming out of the first part of the lunar cycle and into this first quarter to full moon, we have a waxing moon. It's going to go through, it's in Aries is of course the sign of beginnings. So that's good. And then it's going to go through Taurus and Gemini and eventually get into Cancer as it approaches the full moon next Monday. So quite a bit of energy, which I would say is pretty positive stuff all in all. Well, you know, the thing is this. We start the week with a major aspect, and that is Mars square Neptune. Mars and Neptune will aspect each other about twice a year in what we call hard aspects. So this is one of them. And with Mars in Sagittarius, the warrior planet is already sort of fighting for a cause and now going to square Neptune in Pisces. And so we have this sort of quixotic kind of, you know, going out there and going on a crusade, really fighting for your beliefs, which could be a very good thing, you know, as long as your beliefs aren't bullshit. And we'll probably see a lot of, you know, fighting for a good cause and a lot of fighting for a bullshit cause over the beginning portion of the week. So I would say Sunday, Monday, this aspect is exact on Tuesday. So I would say the beginning part of the week, we'll see even more polemics. We'll see even more splits and divisions based on beliefs. That's nothing new, of course. As I always say, it's hard to imagine things getting worse, but they usually manage to get even more polarized, even more split. And we'll get a nice look at that. We'll get a look at that at any rate in the beginning part of the week. So I would, you know, I would just sort of keep my eyes out for things that may be a little bit overdone. One important point is that, you know, we talk about, you know, coming to disagreements and being, you know, polemical and polarized. Well, all right, that's been an ongoing theme for quite some time now. So we're in a sense used to it. But Mars is a planet of action, right? We're not just talking about words, we're talking about actions. And so that adds another little piece of the puzzle in there that we might want to look for. Mars is in Sagittarius. It's a fire sign, so it's, you know, it's not an earth sign, but it is, you know, it is a potential for action. So this is, you know, this is another side of that split and polarized and act on the basis of beliefs. Adding fuel to the fire, we have the south node of the moon at 0 degrees of Sagittarius. And that south node at 0 degrees of the sign really pulls out that polarizing energy of Sagittarius. And we know Sagittarius is not necessarily a polarizing sign, but if you kind of get the dark side of Sagittarius, it is dogma and belief systems that are inflexible. The north node, of course, is at 0 degrees Gemini, saying, well, you can get some facts if you want to go get them, but, you know, who wants to go get facts when you can just sort of rest on your beliefs? So with 18 months of the nodes in Sagittarius, Gemini, We've seen a lot of it, but now we're getting a sort of extreme version of the South Node in Sagittarius. By the way, on Wednesday, I will put out the video on the nodes moving into the Scorpio Taurus axis. So watch for that on Wednesday. We have a lot of potential for polarization at the beginning part of the week. You're going to see it in our individual lives. You're really going to see it on the collective stage. Certainly in the US, as we've just come around the anniversary of the Capitol insurrection on January 6th, this is a very hot issue, and there are other hot issues that are going to continue around that type of thing. Of course, the pandemic is another thing that fuels people up for all kinds of belief-based actions. And then we have the stuff that's going on in the Ukraine and Kazakhstan. So this is all going to be quite hot. It's a little unfortunate that there's some diplomatic negotiations going on between among the United States, Europe, and Russia this week, and we begin with this highly polarized energy, and then on Friday, Mercury stations to go retrograde. So the beginning part of the week, here we are sort of based upon acting based upon misinformation that comes from belief systems rather than getting the facts. And then as we get towards, let's say, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, so from Wednesday onwards, we're really in the throes of mercurial mishaps. Now, Mercury is going to be retrograde for 3 weeks, of course, but we often find that the most dramatic examples of Mercury retrograde come right at the point where stations to retrograde or stations to go direct. So those tend to be the points where you get the most dramatic effects. So once again, we'll be seeing that kind of energy. So is it a good week to hide under the covers? Yeah, maybe it could be. It's a possibility. It's a strategy. I'm not saying it's the strategy to use. Again, the moon is pulling us forward. The moon is pulling us forward and pulling us into action, and Mars and Neptune are pulling us into action as well. The question is, do we know what we're doing? If you have something that you really think, wow, this is something I really believe in, this is something that I really need to do, I would say the beginning part of the week, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, pretty good time to put stuff into action. Moon will be in Taurus, or moon will be in Aries or Taurus. Even the moon in Gemini is going to be interesting. So I feel that you could get some stuff done early in the week, but you better be really sure about it and not like come to the decision now. If you've come to the decision a while ago and this is just the implementation stage, that's okay. End of the week with Mercury stationing retrograde, and Venus already retrograde, it's not necessarily a time for leaping forward. Again, we're kind of pulled in that direction, and we're getting to a point where the sun is going to meet Pluto in Capricorn, getting ready for that Cancer full moon. It's not necessarily a time when you can step back and avoid things. It's just a time that you might not want to initiate anything more than you have to. All right, so are we clear on this? Maybe.